Across the heartland of America, a silent menace is rampaging through farmlands and wilderness alike. The relentless advance of feral pigs, often called wild hogs. What started as scattered populations in a handful of regions has ballooned into a nationwide plague, infiltrating over 36 states and inflicting economic wounds that tally up to billions annually in ruined harvests and ravaged landscapes. For those tilling the soil, this isn't some distant headline. It's a nightmare unfolding in their own backyards. Vast stretches of cotton, rice, and peanut fields get churned into mud pits as these beasts plow through with their razor-sharp tusks and unyielding appetites. Independent growers and sprawling agribusinesses feel the sting equally, with hay meadows uprooted, drainage ditches clogged, and barriers toppled under the weight of charging herds. Livestock owners aren't spared either, as foraging grounds turn barren, ponds become contaminated breeding grounds for illness, and the specter of transmitted diseases looms over herds of cattle and sheep. Reports from agricultural experts peg the yearly toll at over $2 billion, cementing these invaders as a top-tier ecological villain in the country. But the havoc doesn't stop at the farm gate. It spills over into the delicate web of nature itself. Their voracious digging shreds the earth's foundation, sparking runaway soil loss and smothering local plants under layers of disturbed dirt. By gobbling up seeds, bulbs, and nuts, these hogs muscle out native creatures like squirrels, quail, and elk, tipping the scales of survival in their favor. Riversides and marshes suffer as wallowing pits turn clear waters murky, endangering aquatic life and pushing rare amphibians toward the brink. At its core, this invasion fractures the harmony of habitats, weakens the land's ability to bounce back from disasters, and leaves scars that nature struggles to heal. Their knack for adapting to everything from dense woodlands and open prairies to swampy lowlands and cultivated plots turns control efforts into a game of cat and mouse. Factor in their sharp wits and quick distrust of anything human-related, and you've got animals that sidestep snares, memorize threats, and vanish into the shadows with ease. Tackling this foe is no simple task, thanks to their explosive breeding habits that outpace most wildlife. A lone sow can produce dual broods annually, each bursting with 6 to 10 offspring, fueling population surges that can multiply a modest cluster into a teeming swarm in mere seasons. This fertility frenzy demands immediate intervention, as delays let the numbers spiral out of reach for landowners and conservationists. Relying solely on pursuits with rifles isn't cutting it, though it's a cornerstone in the fight. Across the map, from rural heartlands to coastal edges, producers, marksmen, and officials are banding together to stem the tide. In hotspots like the Lone Star State, where hog densities hit peak levels, after-dark expeditions with infrared gear, trained canines, and group outings are slashing counts effectively. Certain regions sweeten the deal with rewards for participants, honoring their part in shielding yields and mending environmental rifts. Still, the pros insist on a holistic approach for lasting results. Land stewards are bolstering defenses with sturdy wire meshes, charged perimeters, and alert systems that ping intrusions in real time. Snaring techniques, particularly expansive enclosures that nab whole sounders in one go, outshine solo takedowns by a mile. Unity among adjacent property holders is key, since these nomads ignore fences and roam unchecked. Isolated attempts fizzle if neighbors don't join the fray. Federal bodies like agricultural departments and regional conservation groups step in with vital aid, offering workshops, tracking data, and probes into innovative tactics. In rugged terrains swarming with the pests, chopper-based sharpshooting clears out masses swiftly, underscoring the gravity of the issue. Though such methods spark debate, they highlight the dire need for creative fixes to curb the expansion. Producers are urged to layer their defenses, weaving together patrols, captures, surveillance of territories, and partnerships with environmental overseers. This war on wild hogs transcends mere crop defense. It's a stand for the vitality of U.S. food production and the integrity of wild spaces. These creatures boast cunning minds, versatile lifestyles, and tough hides, ranking them among the most formidable outsiders to tame. But through dogged determination, cutting-edge tools, and shared initiatives, progress is possible. Each safeguarded acre, deployed lure, and eliminated intruder builds toward equilibrium. The lingering puzzle is if traditional chases suffice or if bolder innovations are the path forward. One truth stands firm. Inaction invites further conquest, dooming fortunes and frontiers to ongoing ruin. Imagine waking up to the sound of chaos in your fields, crops shredded, soil overturned like a battlefield after a storm, all courtesy of an unstoppable army of feral hogs rampaging across America. These aren't your average farm pests. They're cunning invaders breeding faster than rabbits, turning billions in profits into dust and threatening the very backbone of our nation's food supply. From Texas ranches to Midwest meadows, farmers are fighting a war they didn't start, armed with traps, tech, and sheer grit against beasts that outsmart traps and vanish into the night. But what if hunting alone isn't enough to stop this porcine plague? Dive into the heart of the invasion, where every root torn up spells disaster for wildlife, water, and our way of life. Will we reclaim our lands, or let the hogs win? Stay tuned as we uncover the strategies turning the tide in this epic battle for balance.